So Travel Talk and Travel with Meaning, our mission is to encourage, inspire, and support travel. We come together as Travel Talk, so we come together as a community to hear these stories from our like-minded peers, to be inspired, to go out, travel, and do things. Keep trying, stay humble, trust your instincts. Most importantly, act. When you come to a fork in the road, take it. Live your life by a compass, not by a clock. So I was thinking about what to put up like as a quote for this next guest. He and I talked a lot about like time. People always subscribe to the fact that they feel like they never have enough time. They don't have the money. Travel is that thing that, oh, I'll do it when. But we all know it's that conversation that kind of gets in our head of just go, leap and the net will appear, right? So our next guest actually traded in his corporate suit for an urban landscape. Pretty cool if you think about what that looks like, right? He traded that in. He's the co-founder of a nonprofit called Beautify Earth, transforming empty walls with positive messages and images, inspiring people all over the world. Let's give it up for Ruben Rojas. Well, as I said, you kind of traded in your corporate suit for this, and you haven't really been doing this for that long, 4.5 years. So what really inspired you to do this, to step out with Beautify Earth?
I met the founder, Evan Meyer, in a leadership workshop, and he saw me doodling, and he's like, dude, we got to get that on a wall. So if you've seen Cardio Bar on Lincoln Boulevard, it's got a ton of words on it. Those were
Anybody
all
know
hand-painted words.
Anybody know that place? So tell them about like some of the words.
It's so it asks the question, who do you choose to be? And a lot of times, and where my work is based in, is I wake up, and I'm like, I don't want to, I feel ugly today. I'm depressed. I want to go back to bed. Like, life sucks. And then I'm like, what if I choose to be grateful instead? Or to be worthy? Or to be responsible? Or to be a leader? And it doesn't mean that I have to go be the president of the United States. It just means be a leader in my life with whoever, with my fiance, with my brother, with my mother, with my friends, just being here. So it's the little things that we don't realize that can make a difference, and the ripple effect of that, and that was the first mural that kind of jump-started everything that you see now.
Do you have a favorite mural in LA?
No, and people ask me that a lot, and it's really, I don't have a favorite because everyone interacts with them completely different, and the story of how they share. So I have favorite moments, and it's how vulnerable people get. This Dreamer mural, I painted it with the intention of, for the American Dream. It's a documentary that was being filmed.
Mrs. Walgrove, right?
Yeah,
Walgrove
and Rose. And it was go quit your 9 to 5 and like go do that hobby that's been there and you hate your life. Like go do it. But then people turned it into their DACA mural for everything happening with the politics and the immigrants and all that. So the way people use the mural for their intention, that's my favorite moment.
Like you shared actually in the video of that woman who was standing in front of the You Are Beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you get posts like that a lot?
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's got to be kind of why you're doing this, right? Moment.
That's the fuel that makes me keep going, yeah.
Right. And actually, I met this guy, we probably met almost 4.5 years ago, right when you were just kind of doing this stuff, right? And so I've always known you as Ruben the artist. And I've got a chance to, like I said with Jeanette, but watch you transform. And your work is great, and I love driving around and seeing different things, whether it's humble or gratitude or these amazing things you're doing. I want to put up 2 pictures, and I want to talk about these 2 images for a moment. So this is a piece that you just did at the LA Zoo. You were commissioned by the LA Zoo, right? Pretty big deal. I mean, John Legend tweeted this out, right? That's a pretty big freaking deal. How does this make you feel when you see something like that? And tell us about how this came together. Look at that smile. I love that.
So part of this is one of 2 murals that was done, and we also donated a piece to charity. And I was able to go up on stage, and I was terrified. Right before I was shaking, and then they gave me the mic. And I think Z also said, oh God, they gave him a mic, here he goes. And I'm able to stand and talk to people to get them to do something bigger than themselves because of art. And I never knew that was possible. I went to school to be a doctor, and then I ended up in real estate and then financial planning. And here I am.
Painting love murals.
Yeah.
That's about right. So this came together. LA Zoo came to you?
Yeah. So my buddy Gabe introduced me to the trustee of the LA Zoo, nonprofit board or whatever it is. And then they kind of brought me in. We did a tour. They showed us the walls. Actually, it's a big deal that we did public city property.
Yeah.
So that was also, this is a first for them also in that capacity.
But I wanted to also talk about, because you started touching on when they had the auction. And it sold for like a pretty awesome amount. Was it 40, 50,000?
Yeah, $40,000.
$40,000 as a guy who just started this a couple years ago and just following his passion in his heart. That's got to make you feel pretty awesome. Yeah, that makes you feel pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to talk about this one here. So you've been commissioned to do murals in different cities around the country and the world. We'll get to the world in a second. But this one was in Mississippi. Tell me about the experience in that, and where you dropped in and what that was. Because this has a pretty deep meaning, goals and dreams. And tell us where this was in that experience.
So I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, and I know exactly how grateful it is to do that. And I've mostly experienced America on the coasts. So I've been up and down the East Coast, West Coast, Chicago, and Austin is about as middle as it gets. And then I get commissioned to do this project where I go to Tennessee, Memphis, then we drive into Clarksdale, and I go into this town, and I'm like, wow, this is America. So that was the first thing. Like, this is America. This building actually has no roof on it. It's caved in. This parking lot belongs to Ground Zero's Blues Club, which is Morgan Freeman and Bill Luckett own the club, and Bill Luckett's the mayor of Clarksdale. And we did this with the high school kids. So American Express did a program where, as a financial advisor, I always said, why aren't they teaching us about credit, about balancing a checkbook, about these simple things in life? You know, what's the point? Like, I love woodshop, I love building things, but I'd rather know about credit. So they went in there and taught these kids this was the highest graduating rate of seniors they've had in like a decade. And it was really cool because American Express is more of a luxury brand. It's a luxury card. And they're creating Amex Serve card, which if you see in these impoverished areas, it's a lot of check cashing. It's check cashing, fried chicken, and dollar stores, right? And then the check cashing people take a premium. So you're talking about people earning every penny, and they're taking home 60 to 70 cents of their dollar because they're keeping the rest. And then because they don't have a lot of money or they don't have credit, they can't have regular checking accounts. So then they have all this cash, and they're just dealing in cash. And how do you build credit? So it was really cool that they were doing that program. The other exercise I did here is, this was the first time I did this. And I was like, how can I make an impact greater than painting a wall? And I talked to these kids about, what are dreams? And I asked them, who has a dream? Raise your hand. Took a little bit to get them going. And then they finally raised their hand. And then we started going through those things. And I had them all then take those dreams and paint them onto this wall. And then we talked about how that now became a goal. So 2 of them were OBGYNs. 2 of them want to be dentists. 1 wants a BMW. 1 wants a house. 1 wants to be a dancer. 1 wants to be a singer. Like, all those things are out there. So now they're accountable to themselves, their peers, me, the community, and to whoever puts that out there. So it made something more impactful, because we say things all the time, but unless you write it down, we're just breathing in the wind. So that was really cool. And then there was a moment I took Evan and my buddy Zach, who we're talking about. Evan is just, he looks like you basically, right? Beard,
guy.
less hair.
Yeah.
And we got Zach, who's 6'5", blonde, like white Adonis, into a predominantly black community. And we're like, who are these guys from LA that stick out like nothing? But we were able to connect. We had him singing, we had him dancing, it was beautiful. And when it was over, the 3 of us huddled together and just started crying. Like, we just realized like the impact that we were able to make. And from there, that was another moment. This was my 3rd mural that I painted. And from there, it was like, we really have something here. Like, there's something that I can do that's a little bit more than just the art. It's, what can you do to touch someone's heart? Or what can you do to make them really feel something and remember it?
How do you really make that impact?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like you said in the video, like that empty wall. You're giving them something more than just an empty wall to look at. You're giving them goals and dreams. I want to talk, before we even get to some of your other travel stuff with art, I want to ask you about your early travel experiences. What was your first travel experience, really?
As a kid, we always had summer vacations. We went to Florida all the time. My godfather's brother had a condo in Miami, so I knew that very well. Went to Colombia, went all over Mexico. We always took a trip to Baja California. There's a place called San Felipe, if anyone knows it. It's, I think, an 8-hour drive. So I traveled mostly was Mexico, Colombia, and Miami. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you had those experiences. And I wanted to start with that as kind of as a first point, because I wanted to come up. You've been commissioned, as we said, to do murals all over the country. And then last year, or sorry, no, even a couple months ago, you had an opportunity to go to Europe for the first time, right? Let's watch this short little video of you going to Paris. Oh, before that, look at this guy. This is in Paris. So tell us, set it up for us then. Set us up, what you do, who commissioned you, and this whole experience.
So the company Cybo Games commissioned me to do. They saw that CMT video and they're like, we're really inspired by you and we want you to go do that for Paris. And we used liberty, equality, and love. And it's usually liberty, equality, and fraternity. And that's where the words came from, but then you'll see the art. And
So let's watch this little video of your journey to Paris. Amazing. As I mentioned, that was your first time actually going to Europe, right?
Yep.
So, where else do you still, if there's like a dream place you want to do like a mural, are you in conversation to go somewhere? Is there a country you want to go to, or a city?
I want to paint everywhere.
Everywhere, yes. That's a very broad place. I love it.
No, I know, I know.
But is there like, your art and your messages really have an impact? So is there a place that really sticks to you that says like, wow, you went to Houston last year, right? After they've had a lot of things happen in that city, which has a big elevation part. You're going to leave inspiration. Is there somewhere you really look at and say, wow, I'd really love to go and do that? Do you seek out places, or do they come to you?
That came to me. A lot of the stuff's coming now, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
No, I have a joke where it's like, if Trump builds the wall, I'm gonna go paint it. And whatever the aftermath is, we'll put something, Tyler and I always talk about how what we do is make a wall inclusive, right? Walls are built to keep people out or to create safety so you can sleep at night. But sometimes you can put art on there. Now it's inclusive, it's part of the community, and you can have an event around it, but it's still a wall, but now you've repurposed it or added more purpose to it.
What projects are you working on now, or what's coming up?
A lot.
Anything you can tell us about?
Yeah, I'll be painting something in the Glendale Galleria tomorrow night.
Okay.
Painting something in San Diego this weekend, doing a tour of some orphanages in Tijuana on Monday.
Are these coming to you, all those?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
July, I'm painting a huge one in Norwalk, which they haven't seen that type of work. San Antonio in August. There's a lot.
Are you choosing the words? Like,
Yes.
so you're choosing, you're then proposing to people, whether it's gratitude or humble, or so you're coming up to them saying like, this is what my feeling is, or are you like kind of getting a gauge of the community?
A little bit of both. So I want to make it sensitive to the community. I'm not going to go into like a Mexican community and paint something that's Chinese, for example.
Right.
It doesn't resonate. But I do know that words resonate, and you keep it simple and you keep color. And the reason I use color or stripes on equality is like we're all different colors, shapes, and sizes. You know, so let's paint it that way so it resonates with everyone. And I use words of empowerment because usually what we see is a billboard like you saw in that video that says our boobs aren't big enough, or let's freeze the fat, or as a dude I'm inferior, so let me go get a brand new shiny truck, or whatever it is that we need, so I can put, well, how about we're grateful for what we have?
Yeah, well said.
You know, so there's other words that like believe, wonder, life is now, different things that I have a list of stuff that I still want to paint. So when it presents itself to the right wall, it'll go up.
So there it is. So you have a list of things. So you just kind of
Yeah.
keep that master list of like empowering, inspiring words.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Where is this, like in a journal or somewhere you keep it? Or?
Notes on my iPhone.
Nice in your iPhone. Obviously, notes on the iPhone, right? Beautiful. Well, I want to shift from your art side to your travel side, because you are, a pretty accomplished world traveler. Both you and Z together, you on your own. So I'm curious. Well, I want to put this picture up first, but I'm curious if, like, since you've started doing the art, if travel has changed for you. Do you see things a little different? And I want to start with this image first in Palawan. The reason I'm putting this up for two reasons. One is it's a pretty rad place. We're going to talk about this in a second, like your travel with meaning moment. But also, this picture right here, you had an Instagram post that went with it and talked a lot, and it had something, I'll paraphrase, to the effect of you dreamt about this place for a long time. And being there, you were in that moment and really looking out. And to me, I remember seeing that post and going, that's that travel with meaning moment. That's that moment being present to like the awe, right, of being there. Share with us a little bit about Palawan, and if people don't know where it is and your experience there.
Yeah, so that was the morning after we arrived. Z took these, spy camera from the back. And we got there, it was dark. It's not an easy trek to get
Tell
here.
us where it is, people don't know.
Philippines. So it's an island off the Philippines. It's Palawan Island, and there's also yeah, this is El Nido. So this is specifically on Palawan El Nido. And I woke up and we walked out, and like that's what I woke up to. And I was like, oh, I'm here. And you Google it and you look at the water and you're like, this is fake. This is Photoshop. Z's like, no way. And it's super blue. And you go to these areas that there's 4 shades of blue, aqua, and like it's mind-blowing. And it's so friendly and inexpensive, and it was a place that I always wanted to go to. I want to go everywhere, so it's really hard for me to pick and choose, but this was one of the places on my highlight. And I got to take Z for her 30th birthday. We went here and Tokyo and Hong Kong.
We'll get to some of those places in a second. So this was like really one of those highlights places that you dreamt about. I think a lot of times when we do that, we kind of create expectations. Was it what you thought? Was it more? Telling people to go there?
No, I tell people, you got to go there.
Yeah.
You got to go there.
Do you think it's one of those last kind of untouched places?
A little bit. I mean, it's a trek, so yeah. There's a lot of expats in those areas, but at the same time, the people that are there are mostly like from New Zealand or Australia that are really visiting that side of the world.
Was there a lot of like set up tour operators and stuff, or was it still kind of really remote?
No, they have the tours, the whole thing. That's what
Electricity though, or like generators?
Not touristy.
Yeah. Okay. I want to put this picture up because something we were talking about, which I really appreciated about you, was you get really in awe of human advancement through civilization, right? So we're gonna talk about this, talk about the pyramids as well, and just kind of looking even at your face and just like the awe and just amazement of that. What about that stuff really kind of moves you?
So if you've ever been here, then you'll know, but the Incas were not very tall or big people. And
My people.
they really strong legs, right? And first of all, the elevation there, the heat, we went, it wasn't as hot, but all of this, and the fact that they built this literally surrounded by these mountains. we joked around and said, did aliens help them? Like, did someone else help them? And the other thing that I learned about this is that this is where the king held his most esteemed people, right? So this was the scholars, the educators, the artists, the musicians. So they actually came here, and this was a summer palace.
Who's been to Peru? Wow. Who wants to go to Peru? Boom.
Should all go.
Yeah, this is really high on my list, this place right here.
But you walk through all this, and it's, I mean, we go look and see these skyscrapers now, and you see all the machines that are doing it. They didn't have this back then.
When you same here, when you look at...
It's the whole, when I was there, I was like, really? I was like, really, does this exist? And then I learned more as I was there. Like, someone told us that there's a room in the pyramids where food doesn't rot. Like, they leave food there, and the scientists haven't figured this out. But then each stone was cut and built on the opposite side of Egypt, dragged across the country, and then it was built here.
And they didn't put it on a truck. And they didn't have, forklifts.
No.
No.
It's the sheer willpower, right, of the human spirit.
Right.
And of trying to be better and elevate ourselves and build something and create community. I mean, whether you want to say it's slave or this or that, like, there's all these differences in history, and we don't really truly know exactly what happened. But to unify that many people at the end of the day is still a feat. It's still a great achievement. And yeah, that was awesome. That was another place I really wanted to.
So what place do you want to get to in, like, this kind of the wow moment? Is there that place you still want to get to?
India.
India. Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal.
Okay. Is that coming up soon?
We're figuring it out.
All right,
Yeah.
good. And I put this picture up. This is you in Hong Kong. Because you had shared with me that going to Asia was the first time you'd actually really experienced being, you traveled a lot, as you said, to like Colombia, but you spoke Spanish. But this is the first time you really experienced being in a full-on country with another language. What was that experience like?
So Bali, Hong Kong, Japan, all different languages. And the one thing that I say I like about traveling, France I had the hardest time for some reason. Just because Spanish, French, it kind of resonates, but it doesn't, and I'm replying in Spanish, and they're just, but how much you get through eye language and body language, it's that is astonishing. But yeah, to me, it's just, sounds and noises, and we figure it out. This area specifically, we went there, Zeke Googled wherever this place was, and if you've read the book Ready Player One, before you saw the movie, they were talking about something called the stacks. And immediately when I saw this, I'm like, this is the stacks. So it took me to that, and I'm like, this is real life kind of in that. And the density of the amount of people in there.
Was it really hot there?
No, it got hot that day. It got warm that day, but we went in October.
So this is just the stacks. You just people all around. You just feel that energy of so much going on. I mean, great picture. But I want to also go to this because you and Z have also an Instagram account. You guys do, which you want to share it because I kind of put it there in the corner. So we have Love RUBZZ. So this is the account that you guys started together, and I also wanted to put these two pictures up. One, because they're adorable and I love them. But you guys have been doing a lot of traveling together as well. What's it like to, from being a solo traveler and doing that stuff to now traveling with your partner? What do you think the difference is?
Well, I mean, she's a big catalyst to a lot of the adventures now, and she wants to go everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And before, I mean, this goes into a different thing. So I used to travel with my parents, then I traveled a little bit on my own, and then I started making money when I was in real estate. And it was just about what Jeanette said, chasing the paycheck, getting more money, making more money, buying more things. And I didn't make travel a priority. So there was a moment in my life where I could have taken off for years, no problem, and had no care in the world and not even thinking money was an issue, but I didn't because you were stuck in this other mindset. So Z's been a catalyst in that, and because I still have the financial planning brain, I still think about our future, and I've got to be responsible on that, but we do figure a lot of it out. Let's just go, let's book it, and we'll figure it out. Let's book it, and we'll figure it out. So this was specific with a specific trip. That was New Year's. We always travel on New Year's. That's something I always did. So it was a ritual of mine. I really don't like to stay home on New Year's, and we just continued that in our adventures. And that was our first New Year's trip. Yeah, because we had just started dating.
You guys have some big adventures coming up. You're getting married September?
Yeah.
Where are your big, yeah, let's give it up.
Mykonos.
Going to Mykonos. Where else from there?
For Mykonos, then after the wedding, we'll go to Santorini. After Santorini, we're going to see Istanbul, and then back to Athens, and then back home. Yeah.
So when you have this like map of, we talk about places you want to go and things you want to do, what else is on it?
We said India. I want to do an African safari. We're doing Thailand for New Year's.
You've been there?
Thailand?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No. Bali, Philippines.
Love Thailand.
Japan, yeah. So it's either Thailand and Cambodia or Thailand and Vietnam. We kind of like to piggyback. We'll go for 2 weeks at a time or 17 days or something. I won't not go anywhere. If like someone ever said, hey, you want a trip to Afghanistan, I'm not going to say no. I know it's not like the safest place right now, but I want to go experience it. And also see, even if I'm like, let me go see what these soldiers are experiencing. Obviously, I'd be won't really say no to it.
Let's talk about something, because I put that quote up earlier about about not having a clock, right? And this is something you and I talked a lot about.
Mm-hmm.
About people don't travel because they think they don't have the time or the money or those type of things. And you just said that you were in that working mentality for a long time, where you could have just checked out and been like, peace, and gone lived in Bali, like no problem for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you're in this side of where you are in your life, how do you share that with people? Like, how do you transcend these experiences to others? Like, how do you encourage people to go and do that?
Well, one thing I say is we are the sum of our choices. So everything you're choosing, whether you choose not to go or to go, that's on you, and you get to take responsibility. Or else, if you have a regret, that's also on you. So don't regret anything. But I also say life is now. And we're going to get older. Like, we want to have kids. We've talked about this. So there's certain places I want to check off before we get to that point. Because there's certain places that'll be fine to travel with kids. It's a little bit easier. Life's going to happen to you, or you're going to happen to it.
Well said. So I have two questions for you. One is that travel with meaning moment, that juicy thing of all your adventures, or that person or people you've met that really stay with you. Is there something that really comes to you?
The best way to answer that is form your own opinions about travel. So when I went to France, people would tell me, oh, the French, or this, or they don't like Americans, or I went there, we had an amazing time. Everyone opened their doors, we shut down restaurants, we sat there and drank for hours with owners after. I didn't get that vibe. So if I would have listened to that opinion, maybe I would have gone in with that preface, and maybe it would have been a different experience. So what I would say, it's don't go in with an opinion, go in with an open mind. So my moment is just making sure I form my opinion and my experience.
Okay, and what does travel mean to you?
Freedom. So it's freedom. It's the fact that humans are so different, but we're exactly the same thing. And whether you can't speak the language, the way you could communicate, we could still talk to each other. It's just having a little bit of patience, connecting eye to eye, and you figure it out. You figure it out. So it's just that. It's having that freedom.
Cool. Well said. I want to put this last one up because this is I guess one of your last big pieces. I know you're I feel like every day you have something new. But this just really spoke to me as, again, another wonderful tribute to who you are and what you're creating in the community. And we've had a lot of extraordinary people as guests here at Travel Talk who are doing some pretty cool things professionally and are incredible travelers. And I really just want to acknowledge you because the work you're putting out there has a lasting impact on so many other people. So thank you for what you are doing to make our community better and make the world better. But I also think that as you travel and you have these experiences, you come back even more fired up to want to do things. So thanks for that.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.